My second movie for today was James Ivory's Maurice, or Morris, as they keep saying. It's Maurice. Um, I went in thinking that this was going to be really sad because it's like E.M. Forster and like I've seen Howard's End, and I guess The Room with the View's not the saddest movie, but um, I thought this was going to be sad, and I was very surprised when it was like there's moments of tragedy, and several characters have sad endings, but the through line was actually really wonderful, and I'm going to spoil it a little bit because I loved it, and I can't talk about what I loved so much about it without spoiling it. So I'll put like this is going to say spoilers in the title. Um, So, like I said, this was based on an E.M. Forster novel that was actually published posthumously. He wrote it in phases in his life. He was homosexual and wasn't out as in England, as I mentioned in my previous video. It was illegal until 1967. So this was published 4 years after it was no longer illegal to be a gay man in England. And this is a film and a book, and I need to read the book because, like, wow, it's about two men, kind of, mostly one man, obviously, Maurice, but two men who are gay and take different paths, and some extent, a third and fourth man as well, and I'll explain. They meet when they're in Cambridge. This is Maurice and Denham. They keep calling him Denham. Clive. No, Durham. There we go. Clive. Maurice and Clive. They meet in Cambridge. They hit it off. Clive, which is Hugh Grant, makes the first sort of move on James because he's already realized who he is, and he's in that like young college rebellious place in life, and he's sort of at this point accepting his sexuality, and Maurice is the one that it takes a bit for him to be like, oh shit, I feel the same way, but then he falls deep, and then when he tries to behave the same way a heterosexual couple would, Clive is like, wait, no, hold it. We can like be in love, but like we can't make out. And it's like that's not good. You already there's some red flags there. So they spend the rest of the next few years sort of as a couple, but not really a couple, with Maurice clearly being more happy with it than Clive, although Clive at the beginning is the one that's like can't wait to hide in rooms and do things together. But you see through their relationship, Maurice sort of coming into his own with his sexuality while Clive starts to go into the closet. And this happens when, and this is like the first big spoiler, a friend of theirs from college picks a man up in a bar and gets arrested. He's a lord, and like he's just tarnished, and he has to go to prison for 6 months because it was illegal in the 1914, and up till 1967 to be a homosexual man, and so he was immoral, and that freaks Clive out, and he was already sort of uncomfortable, and he just goes deep into the closet. He gets married. He pushes Maurice away. He's like, we had what we had. I'm not going to deny that, but like, let's go marry women and fix ourselves. And even Maurice tries to fix himself, but it doesn't work, obviously, because you are who you are. And I'm thinking, like, I'm watching this. I've never seen this before. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's clear. It's an epic. And I'm thinking, like, this is not going to end well. Like, Hugh Grant is married, and Maurice still loves him, and, like, what's going to happen? And I just want everyone to be happy, you know? And then he goes to stay with his now newly married friend who's in this, like, sham marriage, and who's clearly unhappy in this sham marriage, although his wife is still a little clueless. While there, he meets a kindred spirit, played by Rupert Graves. He's a lower class, but they know each other. They can see each other. They can see each other. And eventually they come together. And then there's misunderstandings, and you think there's going to be blackmail, but there's not. And the, like, most romantic thing I've ever seen, and the reaction to it, like, okay, so first he accidentally thinks that this guy's trying to blackmail him, but really he's just brokenhearted, and he's like, why'd you ignore me? Like, what the hell? And they get back together, but the guy's about to immigrate with his family to Argentina, and Maurice is like, don't leave, and he asks him to stay with him, but like the other guy, Alec, is he's a little practical, and he's like, how are we gonna live? Like, be sensible. And so he leaves, and you think he's gonna leave and go to Argentina, and they're not gonna be together, and like this is what I was expecting, because I was expecting this to be like a tragedy. And then he goes to the boat. Maurice goes to the boat to like see him off, and you're like, ugh. And he's not there. And as his family's realizing he's not there, Maurice is realizing that he's gonna stay with him, and the look on his face of like, oh my God, I found my person, and he's sacrificing everything for me, and this is what he thought he had with Clive, but it wasn't, and what he really does have now, and you see it on his face, and you see this like look on his face as he's heading to his friend, and it's like, or his lover, and it's amazing. And he has this one last sad moment with Clive where he's like, I found what I'm looking for. I found this love that maybe we could have had, but I found it now, and peace out, bro. And Hugh Grant keeps trying to get him to like still go in the closet, and he's like, I don't need that. I don't need your advice. I don't need my name. I don't need anything but this love, and it's so beautiful. And they, meet and are passionate, and it's this beautiful sort of moment between the two of them where like it's gonna be awful for them, because England and in 19 at this point 1916 or something, but 1915, I don't know. But at least they have each other, and they can like maybe immigrate to Italy where it's fine, or France. But the last shot of the film, and this is why it is still somewhat sad, the last shot of the film is the Hugh Grant character with his wife. His wife knows something's off. He's looking into the distance, and he knows that, and goes for a second to the shot of the two of them being so in love in Cambridge, and he realizes that like he's picked a life that is a sacrifice and a life that is a lie, and he had a chance to have this love that he sees that his friend feels for this other man, and he gave it up, and he made that choice, and it's unfortunate that he's stuck now, and the way it's done, James Ivory doesn't make you feel bad, like fuck this guy. Like you feel bad for him, because he made the only choice that he thought he could do to live the life that he needed to live. And really, the villain in this is British society, and society as a whole. And you feel sadness for him, while at the same time you feel such joy for the other couple. There's a great line delivered by Ben Kingsley, who plays a psychiatrist, who at one point is trying to hypnotize Maurice out of being gay, but then later is like, just move to France. He's like, England has never been able to accept human nature. Yeah, England is a country that's never been able to accept human nature, and I got a big laugh in the theater. I just really loved this movie. I didn't know what was going to happen the whole time. I was so enthralled by all the characters and the performances and the pacing, and for the last probably 40 minutes, I was completely breathless, and like I was crying, and when it was over, I was like, come back. I feel like I need to watch it like 15 more times, so I'm probably going to see, this new release was by Cone Media Group, and I think they have the rights to all the Merchant Ivories now, so I'm going to like buy this on DVD and watch it like 10,000 times, because I loved it so much, and I apologize for spoiling the entire movie, but I guarantee you that if you watch it, you will be just as enthralled as I am. I noticed, so I use this website called I Check Movies to keep track of what I'm watching, and there's this list that several of the movies I've watched this month are on. That's the BFI LGBT Classics, like Greatest 100 Films. This film is not on it, and I'm like, hello, this film should be on that list. I love it so much. It is so good. It's such a beautiful look at society at that time, at coming into your own sexuality, at denying your own sexuality, at all of these different facets of the queer experience, and it's just so beautifully made. And then to top it all off, it's a period piece, so you get all these beautiful costumes and hats, and oh, I loved it. So you should check this movie out, and I highly recommend it. It's in theaters right now, as there's re-release for its 30th anniversary, and I think Cone Media Group also released it on DVD, and it's just so good. You should watch it, and we can all cry together. Hope that we find somebody who looks at you like Rupert Graves looks at James Wilby, because We should all be so lucky.